Nice. I don't usually do spaces, but Faha, or sorry, Fast Guy. What's your name?
My name is Fa.
So Fa. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, you.
it's Thai. It means sky. That's why it's Fa Sky.
Oh,
Fa is
that's
Thai
interesting.
language. Yeah, it means sky. So my friend call me
Nice.
Fa Sky. Yeah.
Oh, wow, nice. So you're in Thailand.
No, I'm in Bay Area. I'm in San
Ah,
Francisco.
so you're in San
Yeah.
Francisco. Oh. I see you selling. I see you selling them Thai spices though.
Yes, yes, that's my side hustling. Yeah. I'm a full-time
Nice.
mom. Yeah.
Sheesh. Yeah, no, I saw your baby boy. Congrats.
Thank you, friend. Pejy, I would like to know when did you start being curious? And hello, Joseph. Hello, my friend.
Hello to
Hello,
everyone.
can you hear me?
Yes,
Joseph.
we
Oh
hear
my
you.
God.
Hi
Oh,
guys, nice meeting you.
Joseph. Nice to meet you too. First time talking to you, but I know I see your comments. I think you do YouTube videos as well. And I commented. I asked on YouTube, on not on YouTube, on Twitter or on X now. How many shares do people got? I have this many, and what are the costs? And you got like over 60K shares, and you're still adding to it. And I'm like, bro, what?
I,
It's
I,
crazy.
We need
it,
to hear from him. How did he start and how did he get here? What is the inspiration and what is your belief? Just tell us. I'm
Yeah, Joseph.
excited. I'm super
Yeah.
excited.
uh,
I'm pumped. Hi,
I,
Mama.
Oh shoot, Alexandra's here. Oh my God, oh, dude, this is awesome. This is awesome. Nice. We're getting
Tesla
everyone
Boomer
here.
Mama is here, yay!
This is nice. This is nice. I love her. So
Oh
Joseph,
yeah,
tell us.
yes,
Yeah.
I can get started. Thank you for having me. It's my first formal space. I think I joined Tesla Boomer Mama once. Talk
Nice.
about at that time was Elon trying to uh, have some legal issue. It really concerned me, so I joined her for the first time. So this is my very first time talking in space. I'm a regular Joe, 9 to 5 job, nothing special. I'm not any financial expert or guru or selling courses or anything. I'm just investing because it's my hobby. I first invested in Tesla, I think, in around year 2019, September. Believe it or
Wow.
not, before I invest in Tesla, my goal to research Tesla is trying to find out how can I short Tesla. And once I find out shorting,
Wow.
yeah, I was researching and I try to find out how to short Tesla because I think the company may not survive. So, but once I research, I find out, I'm 180% incorrect. So I better go long and buy Tesla. So that's how I get started.
It's pay off so well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy because I really applaud people who are able to purchase Tesla before 2019. Um, you all know we've been through the financial crisis 2008, and then 2018 is also another downturn. So I really don't have a belief that Tesla can survive the downturn being a car company. So I want to short that company. But after researching, understanding that by 2019, the company not only can survive, but really the Apple iPhone moment where they can make electric vehicle and be able to make a good profit out of it, to me is a no-brainer. So I look into company, I find out at that time it's around the market cap is about $46 billion, and my basically my napkin math tells me it should be able to 10x by 2030, become a $500 billion company. So that's why I go put 250,000 into this company, and then I, go to sleep, all good, and then I keep waking up in the middle of the night, like something's wrong. What is keeping me up? And then it tells me I'm not buying enough. I don't want to miss the opportunity. So, so night after night, I keep waking up. I decide, yeah, I need to put more money. So I put another 250. It become $500,000, and I also cannot seem like, oh, it cannot be, because if I only have $500,000 at 10x, it's only 5 million. So I decided to put I talked to my significant other, And she said, have you considered put $1 million? I'm like, what? Are you crazy? I'm not going to put $1 million into a company, one company. And then eventually I did. And I put 980,000 in total in 2019, and the rest is history. Um, I never expect it to go up so significantly fast. I expect we reach maybe 500 to 750 billion dollar market cap by 2030. So this is really a pleasant surprise.
Wow, no, that's crazy. Wow. I never heard anyone wake up,
Thank you
not,
so much for sharing
yeah.
this. Thank you
No,
so much.
I've never seen anyone wake up or they can't sleep because they didn't buy enough Tesla stock.
It
I've
is
seen people.
crazy.
It's crazy.
It's crazy because I research a company. There's no other company like this ever. I always invest in. I'm a very conservative investor, to be honest. I'm always into index fund. I'm a Jeb Bogle, the founder of Vanguard. The free three fund portfolio. You have 30% in U.S. index. You have maybe like 30, 35 in international, and the rest into bond. Keep it simple. I always follow the approach until generational company comes along, and in this case, to me, is Apple, Nvidia, and Tesla. So when this company comes along, you really have to throw all those traditional idea away and bet big. Otherwise, you're going to be missing out the most important investment opportunity of a lifetime. So, and that's what I did. I just like, hey, if I always calculate the downside versus the upside, right? The downside is at $46 billion market cap. Let's say go to 2025, right? I lose half the portfolio. I lose $500,000. At that point, most likely Apple or some other company will step in and buy out Tesla so that they have an EV division, right? So that's the downside, losing half a billion dollar. But then the upside is 10x, right? So that's the calculation that I have to do, and I know right away, like, what is the hesitation here? I already know the downside. I know the upside. So what's the concern? So this is why I that's how I invest really.
Not so many people can see it like you, Joseph. I agree. I see it like you because my ear, I give it to every news channel that talk about Tesla. I read all the news. I follow Elon super close.
Hmm.
People who short Tesla are like, oh, it's gonna go down to 50. It's gonna go down to 69. It's gonna go down to 100. Only if they know enough. Only if they know as much as we know. I I bought I bought I when my husband asked me to marry him, he's like, let's go get you a ring. I'm like, I don't want any ring. My ring 500 is good enough. Good, all the money that we're gonna spend all in our wedding and the ring, I want all of it in Tesla. And I went all in 100K, not so much for someone else, but it's a lot for me. At 379. It's go down to 100. The some people will call me stupid. Some people will think that it's like you need to diversify. You need to buy S&P 500, and I'm like, no, dude, no. The way to be success is conviction. If you have conviction, if you know the business, like we're so fortunate to have the community that's in the know so much, like
Hmm.
Mama, Tesla Boomer Mama, Herbert, even SMR, like even Stephen Mark and like everyone who have a microphone and do the deep dive and talk about it. We're so fortunate. It's nothing like Tesla community. So I'm not scared. And I have the same feeling you have. I did not buy it enough.
Yeah.
I think every day, if it red, I'm like, okay, let's look in Wells Fargo on how much I'm at. Let's look in Chase how much I'm at. And I buy a one or two share. I keep buying when everybody freak out. This is
Same.
Yeah,
this is my way. Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you
I
for
remember.
sharing your story. Thank
Yeah,
you.
Joseph, that was nice. I remember when the stock went all the way down to $100 per share, and everything was like peak fear. Everyone was like scared and panicking. I was getting death threats sometimes. It was crazy, and I mean, and for every single video of mine, I'm just like, this is the time that you guys just want to buy more of. I mean, this was trading the PE, forward PE was, Chipotle was more than Tesla. I'm just like, you guys are crazy that you guys want to value, Chipotle more than Tesla. So that's when I pretty much whatever I had in my savings account, I just dumped it in it. It was in the low 100s, and I'm
smart.
pretty happy about that. Yeah,
That's very smart. Think about it. Like, it's okay to be scared. I was scared. I'm not like super intelligent, like predict the future kind of guy. I'm scared. At 106, I'm scared. But I try not to think that way. I try to think, hey, now I have some money I earned from selling cover call, several thousand here and there. I can buy like 20, 30 share at this crazy price. I mean, I try to focus on that, how to build more, how to make a bigger snowball in the bad times. And then when it's good time, then things will, compound it and become more meaningfully big. You guys heard about a story where, um, for folks who are older like me, a story from Warren Buffett. He say, let's say you put $1 million in buying a farm. You guys heard about this story?
Yes. Elon
Okay.
also he spoke about it when he was doing those those talks in Pennsylvania and stuff. Yeah.
Right. So you have a farm, you own the farm, $1 million is generating profit, is you're living happily in that long term. You don't have to sell that farm just because somebody come by and say, hey, I think your farm only worth 500,000. Doesn't mean you have to sell it. You know the true value of what you're holding. It's just a matter of conviction and not being scared out of the current market condition. Market is very fluctuate on a daily basis. Those are volatility. Those are not really a risk. Risk is when your company cannot survive. Volatility is when things are moving. It's stormy season. You're in the middle of the sea in a tiny boat. But we're on a Titanic. We're on a really we're on a cruise ship, not Titanic, cruise ship. So that's important to know.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, a lot of people, most people, when they invest in these things, they're not long-term investors because they need the money in the next 12 months. So, you can't be invested in a company like Tesla when your horizon is just 12 months. We've seen what happens in 12 months with Tesla, with Elon and all that. So at least 5 years, that's the horizon you should have with Tesla. I mean, that's the minimum too. Like at least 5 years. If you're buying a share today, make sure that you're holding it until end of 2029 or something, and that's the minimum. That's the minimum.
To me, it's 10 years minimum, because
10 years
otherwise
minimum, even better.
you cannot experience the compounded effect until years down the road. It's still the
100%.
beginning. To me, it's still the beginning. So we'll see.
Yeah, 100%, 100% with that. But how are y'all feeling? Like, man, we were at like flipping like 140 this earlier this year, and now we're like more than double that in just what, 6 months, which is just absolutely insane. Like, how are y'all feeling? I know, Jennifer, you're here. How are you feeling?
Hi, Jen.
Hi, guys. Hey, good afternoon, everyone. I feel great, but I don't really pay attention to the stock price. I kind of like dips because then I can buy more at a discount. What I'm most excited for is, of course, the Optimus robot. And I know that, they got a lot of criticism about the Cybercab event where like the robots were remotely controlled. But I sat with it and I thought about it. I was thinking about it this morning, actually, for this. And when I think about Tesla, I don't think about the stock, even though I am a shareholder. I think about the future of the company. And what I saw with the Optimus robot is that it can perform human-like functions, no problem, even if it has to be currently remotely controlled. With that, there's so many applications today for the robot. Like you could have people remotely controlling it, doing extremely dangerous jobs. And so I see that value today. Like today they can do that. But I know with the work with FSD that the robot will control itself. So, I'm just incredibly optimistic for the company. I don't think that there's another company out there that has as much growth potential as Tesla does. And I think there were a lot of people that were upset about Elon getting into politics. I think it was the best thing he could have done for Tesla, because look at how well positioned he is. So I am very optimistic and looking forward to just buying more stock.
Real life 4D, real life chess 4D. Every move he make is calculated for the best for all of us. World class CEO. I'm like, I'm student of life, and I just learn every move Elon does is like amazing. Sometimes it's shocking, like buying Twitter, like whoa, but it's for the good, for the good, for the free speech, for the space for us like this. I'm proud of him. I'm very proud of him.
Yeah, to be honest, if you before Elon get heavily into politics, I was very concerned because as an investor, I always believe investing and politics should separate, because whatever, if you take the wrong side, you're gonna get spanked with your investment. So I'm not happy about him getting in politics at the beginning. However, when you see the far left become so unhinged and doing so many crazy stuff, um, we our Tesla stock is getting compressed and getting bombarded with regulation and government. So I'm really happy that Elon stepped up and take the right side with Trump. And I believe after November 5th, the 100 price jumped heavily because of Trump won the presidency. To me, that's a very clear signal that, hey, from the government point of view, we're going to have a smoother ride. Again, people ask me like, hey, you guys going to get special deal or government special interest will be working with Tesla? We're not looking for special deal. We're simply looking for a fair playground. As long as the playground is fair, Elon and the team, the Tesla team, will always outperform and outwork the rest of the company. That's all. That's all I care.
That's a really good point, Joseph. But I mean, what I would like to say about that is think about the problems that Tesla has faced over the last several years, and even SpaceX. A lot of it is lawfare from our own government, where our government is spending so much money to just harass this company that's moving us forward in technology. And I think Elon saw there was this huge opportunity to improve that, to get rid of that. That was a big hurdle, that and regulation, because Trump is already talking about having, I think he's putting together some sort of committee or something for full self-driving cars. Like, he's going to push it forward. And I think that's really what's best for the American people, because I've driven 33,000 miles in my leisure travel van in the last 18 months. And what I can tell you is there's a lot of terrible drivers out there. And I would love if all the vehicles drove themselves. So, because I've seen some crazy accidents, and, people are always texting and driving. They're tired and they're driving. They're distracted. They're upset. They're on a lot of drugs. And so, it's best for the nation and it's best for Tesla. And I have learned over the years, Elon is smarter than me. I am never going to outsmart him. And if he thinks it's a good idea, it probably is. He has been proving himself to us over and over and over again, delivering on what he promises and executing at a very high level. And I really don't understand why anybody is doubting him anymore. I mean, I think there are a lot of people that are jealous or are unhealed, and that's where it's coming from, because I don't understand how anybody could not like this man. He's just trying to make it better for everybody.
And Elon even have time to play video game and be number one in it.
I know, isn't that wild that he's a ranked video game player while running like 6 companies?
Your checklist is like, holy shit. Your checklist, like, bring human to Mars, reusable rocket, make free speech work, get Trump win election. Like, your checklist is like, oh my God. And you're still playing video game. Like, dude, thumb up, 10 thumb up.
Yeah, no,
We have new friend here. Sorry, we have new friend here. He's look like Rabbit.
Yeah. Here.
Hello, friend.
Before you start, I know we're gonna move on to a different topic. I do want to say one thing, is that as a Canadian, I am happy to see that the U.S. is not going to turn into Canada 2.0. If here's the thing, if Kamala was elected, oh my God, it would have become a Canada 2.0. Like, here's the thing, I'm a Canadian, but I work in the Middle East because I can't do it in Canada. I honestly can't. The taxes are ridiculous. You know, the bureaucracy is crazy. The laws are insane. Like, they're literally telling, like, the crime is so high in my city. I never thought this was even possible, but the crime is so high. There's a lot of theft going around with cars, and the police is coming out and saying that yeah, we do know that there's theft with cars, but it's okay. Leave your car keys by the door. And I'm just like, are you guys in it too? Like, are you guys part of this too? Like I don't understand. Like, why would you like? It's so stupid, and that's just one of so many reasons. I'm just glad that Trump is in, and the US is not going to be a Canada 2.0 because, oh man, the amount of regulation there's going to be if Kamala came in, oh my God, it's going to be so bad. In Canada, we have so much regulations. We have tax on tax on tax, which it really boils my blood. Like, I visit my city in Toronto every summer, and it keeps getting worse. Like, I'm just like, man, I thought about coming here and buying a home and retiring and living here, but now when I come and see that a small little bungalow that has only 2 bedrooms for $1 million, and then with all the stupid rules and all this tax on tax, man, I don't want to live here anymore. That's how I genuinely feel about Canada. Like, it sucks, absolutely sucks. And I'm eyeing Texas. I don't know. I'm probably going to visit this summer to see what's going on in Texas. But man, I just can't. I mean, Canada has just gone so woke. I have to say it. So woke that I just can't deal with it anymore, and it's just so expensive. I'm just glad.
You should come to Austin. Austin's amazing. If you're going to come to Texas, come check out Austin.
I'll do that. I mean, I know Texas is huge.
I feel you. You. I live in San Francisco.
That's like a mini Canada right
San
there.
Francisco to shit. I feel you, my friend.
That's California is like the baby Canada. Like, at least you guys have some freedom, and I don't think there's much censorship there compared to what it is in Canada now. But I hope the next election, Trudeau is gone. I'm happy that he's going to go. I mean, the country had enough with him, but I just hope the next guy will do it. But that'll take, I think, a decade for it to fix things, and I don't know. Things are broken. Things are not fun in Canada, man. But I'm glad Trump is not gonna go down that woke path. That won't make the country so full of rules, or how Elon says it, so many referees in a football field or a soccer field that you just can't get anything done. So I'm just glad with that. So that's just my thoughts. The Rabbit here, you are good to go. What do you got for us?
All right, thanks. Yeah, I think I just want to iterate. Elon would not have gotten involved with politics unless it was absolutely necessary. With the visionary of trying to make life simpler, less annoying, more efficient, this guy wasn't set on politics until politics got in his way. So the big thing to take from it is, maybe he really likes Trump, maybe he really doesn't. It doesn't really matter. The enemy of your enemy is your ally in this case. Personally, I like Trump, but I'm not going to throw that on Elon. Elon is, in fact, playing 4D chess. He's looking for the success of the future. He's looking for the success of his companies. He's got his investors in mind. He has his companies and his babies in mind. This is the same guy that was sleeping on the floor of his factories. He's going to go walk through fire and everything else to make it happen. So it was born out of necessity. It's born out of what you see in Canada.
Nice. Rabbit, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, my friend?
I'm an ophthalmologist from America. I think my biggest thing of getting into the politics of everything is just seeing the rampant fraud of Medicaid. So in my hospital system, I have just detecting probably about half my Medicaid patients are just absolute frauds. They're able to pay for premium services. They pull out their Audi keys. There's all sorts of things. There's just that the inefficiencies and the bullshit and the things that we are paying for on the regular basis. it's abused, and it's especially abused by illegal immigrants. So the rich illegal immigrants in some cases, it's actually a pretty wild setup. But look at Canada, all the frauds of student visas, fake schools. You guys are getting walked on even worse than we are.
Dude, it sucks.
Rabbit, what part of America that you live in, my friend?
I'm from North Carolina.
And
Oh,
you,
you're close to me. We're on the East Coast. Yeah, East Coast.
Yeah, so I'm rooted in Boston and NC, so I travel between both.
so you work in a hospital and you experience illegal come to the hospital.
Oh, of
Is that
course,
what
yes,
happened?
of course, yeah. So you don't. Well, there's Samaritan's care. There's cases where you can't really deny people. There's all sorts of laws that if somebody shows up to a hospital, even if they have no money, if they have a problem, you take care of them. There's also other cases where maybe people are here on a visa, or they're naturalized, they have green card, or even they've gotten their citizenship, but they're rich from a different country. And don't get me wrong, I love Chinese people. I have lots of Chinese friends, but some Chinese people are the biggest culprits of this, where I know they're rich as hell and they're paying for premium care and premium implants. And when they pull out their bag to write something down, you see all their expensive crap fall out, and you're just like, and my taxpayers are paying for their care today. And I might not even get paid by the state today because they don't pay out on half of the claims anyways.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, medicine's pretty wild. So Hare, thanks for bringing that up, because it's true. Like, people can go to an emergency room and they can't be denied care. So then they'll have like procedures done that either could have been done in the doctor's office, but they didn't have the money to go to a doctor. So they go to emergency care where they can't be denied. And then that bills out much higher. And, that gets passed on to the American taxpayer. Unfortunately, it's a strange system, because it's like, why can you just walk into an emergency room and have care, but you can't do that in a doctor's office? I don't think you should be able to do it in either. But then there's also like, well, are you just going to let somebody die or be ill? So it's like a sliding scale. I think for trauma, I think it's the right thing to do is to just treat somebody. But what you're talking about here, and I've seen it myself, is people just walking in for like routine healthcare because they can't be denied. And it's weird and part of that is why we have long wait times at emergency rooms, why we don't have enough doctors for the Americans that we have, because going to medical school these days is like, I don't know, a $750,000 proposition. And then you have to work in this system that really is not doctor friendly at all. Like, when I was looking at medical school versus complementary and alternative medicine, a lot of my doctor friends were like, Jen, you should go to medical school. And I was like, that looks really painful and unnecessary, when I can make, similar money when you count all of the student loan debt that you take on in alternative medicine. So I was like, I think I'm going to go that way. But I really feel for anybody that's in medicine these days. And a lot of it has to do with the regulations, with government. And if we could just clean it up, wouldn't that be fantastic?
Well, it's truly, we need our own Doge department for healthcare, and we're not going to subvert the whole conversation on Tesla investing. So let's get back to that. But there's so much bureaucratic mess. If you look at, I did public health before I did medicine, but there's the administrators, the people who sit on their hands and don't do anything all day and collect paychecks and stick their hands in everybody's pockets. It's just unheard of in healthcare. You can see where it skyrocketed at the time that HIPAA was introduced, because there's so much administrative bullshit that has to go between protecting patients' rights and information. And although I agree that all those things should be private, the bureaucracy that follows as a result of that has it has not helped medical care. It has definitely decreased the quality that you're getting everywhere. And at the same time, people who do hardly anything or do training videos or do DEI videos, they make money. And that's why that's why we're at where we're at, which is why we've got this perpetual culture of, controlling the message is because those people are getting paid to just have feelings. They're not generating money. They need to be snipped.
Nice. Okay. That's wow, eye-opening. Thank you for sharing your experience. Do you have Tesla stock, Rabbit?
I do, and actually, I was coming in. I came in late to the party. I bought it this summer when it was around 160. The big question
Oh,
that I was raising my
that's
hand
a good
Bro, that
initially,
place
is
to start. That's a good
that's
yeah,
place to
not late,
start.
man. That's actually
yeah.
really good.
I
And
think
what
my question here is: do you guys dollar cost average, or do you guys just try to wait for dips? Are you just trying to feel the pulse of the market, or do you just treat it like a
So
Warren Buffett game?
So what I do, and Faye, you can go after me. What I do is I just dollar cost average I buy 2 shares every other day just to piss off the bears and the shorts because they really hate it when I buy 2 shares at a time. But that's how I dollar cost average into it, and then I buy heavier on big dips, because Tesla stock is very volatile. It goes up and down really quick, very unpredictably. So on the days when they're like red, I would just buy maybe 10 shares or 15 shares or 20 shares. Or when it was down in the 140s, I think I bought about like 40, 50 shares at that time. That's how but then every other time, like right now, my plan is that anything under 400, I'm going to continue dollar cost averaging. But once it goes over 400, I'm probably just going to just let it ride and let it chill. That's my plan with that.
It's
Because yeah.
Sorry. So one of the things that I'm concerned about too as an investor is that when is the portal going to close? I think, yeah, it's been historically volatile, but now it's in a political climate where the media is changing, the news is changing, the
Oh,
voice
okay.
and the pendulum swinging. I think that there's going to be less volatility, and I think it's going to become more almost like an Apple stock after the ship has sailed. I mean, obviously, we all have something to gain when the ship sails, when we have full autonomy and we have all these massive like market cap increases, but I almost feel like the dips are not going to come like they used to.
Yeah, well, no, the only way that it can trade like or go up as an uptrend like how it did with Apple is when the EPS starts to grow, and that's when I would say when Robotaxi or FSD or maybe even just the energy, they start to grow consistent earnings on a quarterly basis that Wall Street, because mainly Wall Street, right, can sit down and actually rely on, and we don't have this big volatile of margins going up and down. Pretty much we don't have, pretty much the business isn't fully reliant on the vehicle side of Tesla's business. It's more towards the software side, the software as a service, and then the bot afterwards. Then we could see that the EPS is growing, their profits are growing. It doesn't matter what Elon really does here and there. And even if he does something that he wants to buy, I don't know, the MSNBC or I don't know, CNN, whatever it is, the EPS growth is there as on a quarterly basis for it to justify the stock price, like Nvidia, right? And I do think Tesla's going to have an Nvidia moment. I would say sometime in 2026, maybe in 2027, when we see robotaxi margins come in, they start to kick in, and they see the okay, oh my god, this thing just like a software as a service net income, stream income just came out of nowhere, and now we have to add this net into our little spreadsheet, and then you'll see like an Nvidia moment come, and then the guidance will come out. Elon will say that, yeah, we're projected to grow another 100% this year or 200% this year because all our vehicles are turning to robo taxis and cybercab is being produced and all this other stuff. And China is available FSD, and Europe is now available in FSD, and all this stuff that all these Wall Street analysts don't have included into their valuation is now overnight in their eyes see that, oh, we have to add it into our valuation, and then we're going to see a nice roar like how we did with Nvidia, because nobody saw Nvidia like in 2022 the stock went all the way down to like in the low 100 or 120s or something like that, maybe even less. And I was debating to buy Nvidia or Tesla, but I knew Tesla, so I dumped my whole entire savings into Tesla. But then literally a year after, Nvidia 10x, and it was because nobody saw the data centers or the chips or whatever the heck they were doing. And now here we are, from 300 billion market cap to over 3 trillion, probably going to become the world's most valuable company. Well, not probably, going to be, until Tesla overtakes that. But you know, the same thing. In my opinion, in my view, this is how I see Tesla performing in the next 2-3 years, and they're positioned in the most awesomest, I know that's not a word, but in the most greatest position ever, with Trump on his side, with FSD regulation being, you know, dropped down lower, and just, I don't know, it's a glorious 4 years. That's all I'm gonna say. And that's how I see it. I think we will see a Tesla's Nvidia moment in a couple of years or so, in my opinion. And it's gonna be glorious.
One of the
This
other
is
things. Oh, sorry.
this is why I want to host space with Pejjy. He's so pumped. And I so pumped too. This is amazing. It's
We could
the
we could
stock
turn this
been
into a regular.
suppressed down
Yeah.
so much. It's been like 400 to 100, and everybody, all the bulls go run away. And I'm so picked. It's like it's gonna be 350 by the end of the year. This is awesome.
Yeah.
We
The
need
350
this
price
energy.
target.
We need this energy.
Yeah. No, that was the 350 price target that I made back in September of 2023. I didn't have Trump included. I had it like mainly towards interest rates being cut. And yeah, once I make a price target, I never change it. Whether it goes down to 100 or what was it, 140, I kept saying that no, I'm still sticking to my 350 price target. And now, well, here we are. I mean, that was cool. But hey, these are just, you know, on spreadsheets, just
So go
predictions,
back to
obviously.
Rabbit asks what we do with what we do with our Tesla stock. So I buy when I can. I'm crazy. I check Tesla stock all the time. It's for fun. When it's go red, like 6%, I buy it. 2 share, 3 share, whatever money I have. When it's go down 15%, the day like that, when everybody is like hate Elon, I buy 20 share. But I also buy it when it's go up. When it's go up 350, I feel excited. I buy it too. My method is right now I have money and I don't need my money to do anything. So I gonna send my money to Tesla to work for me. That's how I look at it. Make it
Yeah.
easy. Just put it there, believe in Elon, and go. That's my method.
I'm the same way too. I don't think in terms of share price per se. I think in terms of share count, how many share I actually own in my possession. So uh, I just recently retired 2 months ago, so I need some monthly money to spend. So I do sell cover call when I feel comfortable to do so. So I aim to have about 10,000 to 15,000 every month from selling covered calls so that I can put it back into buying more share within my IRA account, investment retirement account, so that even though I use up some share by selling and living on, I also gain some share back within the IRA. So that's keep me within the 60,000 ish share count. I hope to get more. I mean, if we drop the price drop, I buy more. I don't time the market. I don't time at the tip of the day to buy. Whenever I have cash, I buy because I work on the assumption that I cannot time the market and I will never time it right. So why even try?
I mean,
That's my
that's
approach.
definitely the Warren Buffett. Just put it in when it's low, put it in when it's high.
Exactly. I'm following exactly that approach too. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Joseph, I need to catch up with you, buddy, because I need to learn how to sell covered calls. That's awesome. Um, yeah, I'm a little different. I think I'm the outlier and everybody. Well, in in a few ways, not in this way though, because I just buy when I can, basically. But before I got into Tesla, I was an all-in real estate investor. I had several rental properties, and I was teaching at a university. I was actually department head. And I was sitting in a meeting one day, like just one of those department head meetings, hating life. It was during COVID. It was summer of 2020. And I was looking at my brokerage account and I was like, man, Tesla's taken off. And that's when they changed some of the laws with rentals. They did the eviction moratorium. And at the time, well, and I still am, but I'm not very involved. I was an admin. There's 4 people that run this huge group called Military Landlords. We have 30,000 military landlords in this group. So I had been mentoring people on landlording, for a decade and decided to sell most of our rentals and YOLO it all into Tesla stock. So what I did was I quit my job and then I just focused on selling the properties. And when I had like so I bought, big chunks, like 150,000, 200,000 at a time. I would watch the share price, and that's kind of how I got really involved with the Tesla community, is because I came back to Twitter for Elon, and then I met everybody, and everyone was talking about the stock, and I was like, oh, good, I can get really good information. There are some people that really watch the stock very closely, and they do excellent TA or they do excellent FA. And so, I kind of listened and stuff, but, money was burning a hole in my pocket. So basically, I started buying after the split in 2020 when it got low and it was like 364 a share or something like that in October. And I bought a huge chunk then. I bought right before the S&P 500 inclusion. And then there was another dip in June at some point, so where I bought another huge chunk. I no longer disclose the size of my position. I did once. I put a screenshot up once, and it attracted scammers. So I don't talk about how much I have, but definitely still a solid Tesla shareholder. I am considering selling my last house and putting it into Tesla. And I'm like, I don't know, Jennifer, that's a lot. So, because right now that's rented and it's printing money. That's how I make my income. Joseph's selling covered calls. I'm like, I have a rental. It does fantastic. But yeah,
I have rentals, but I hate it.
Oh, I know. Yeah, that's why I was like, oh, I'm selling this. I mean, to be in higher education during COVID was insane. Like, that's stressful. And then to be a landlord at the same time. And I was like, all of this needs to go. So that's kind of how I ended up in Tesla.
I am a landlord too for 10 years, 14 years actually, if to be exact. And I'm so over fixing the toilet. I'm like, over it.
Yeah.
Right now, my mom live in
Yeah.
one of the townhome. I have 4. So if my mom bye the earth, if she go to heaven, one day no one live forever, I sell that house immediately. I'm like, no more fixing toilet. Oh my goodness. Hello, Sandra.
Hey,
Xander,
what
all
up, Pejjy?
right. How you doing, Xander? I see you in the call in listening, and we're all talking about cover calls, and you're
All
just
right,
like,
right.
bro.
Yeah. No, that's one of the reasons I decided to jump up. Well, I'll tell you this. A couple of days ago, at Thanksgiving, a buddy of mine showed me a $10,000 investment into Tesla stock in 2012. So go do the
Yeesh.
math. Yeah, exactly. Go do the math on the value of just holding
Holy shit.
Yeah. What you heard about, Warren Buffett, dollar cost average, like the same thing applies. If you still think that a 10x is coming, or more, right? Especially if you listen to some Uber bulls, it's will it matter if it's $1,000 that you bought at 350 or you bought at 320 or you bought at 290? Like, none of those things will matter in the end. And as for covered call selling, now I love, if anyone follows me, I'm an options guy. I love that part, but I do that in a trading portfolio that's that its job is to make consistent money and cash flow, as opposed to hold shares long term. Now, even that now with Optimus and the things on the horizon, like selling covered calls, I do it intraday, but leaving them open overnight is just, to me, is insane. Unless you can be like super not greedy, like picking up pennies in front of the steamroller is just, it's one of those things where if Tesla goes on an epic run like you saw in 2020, that you have to get out of the way very quickly, which means you have to be willing to take a loss on that trade immediately, because rolling, you just end up in a perpetual losing situation where at some point you're just gonna run out of the ability to roll because it'll be all the way out to January 2027 in this case. So just be careful with what you're doing. You really want to understand that covered calls, guarantee that you'll make some money, but there's a high probability that you will lose shares uh, ultimately when Tesla goes on that run. So just understand what you're doing.
No,
Yeah,
that's
that's
a
why I don't
great
touch options.
point. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, but that's a great point. That's why I haven't done it yet. I've done a little bit of options trading, just to kind of try it out. And man, you really got to pay attention to that. So, like, it's a job. It's definitely a job. And before we go on, I just wanted to say happy birthday to Boom. I see him in the audience, and it is his birthday today. He's a Tesla shareholder,
It's
so
my birthday
happy birthday,
too.
Boom. Oh my God, happy birthday, Xander.
Thanks.
Happy
I still
birthday,
Happy
aspire.
my
birthday.
Happy
friend.
birthday to everyone.
We have a request speaker here, and I don't know him. He what is it? Skeletor? Okay,
Skeletor?
we're gonna invite him to speak. Let's see
Yeah,
what
sure.
up.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Hello, friend. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, please? Maybe he
I don't
changed
think
his
he's ready.
Hang
mind.
on.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
Okay. Yeah. So my name's Mike. I'm from Toronto, and I'm just going to say right away.
Hey, yo, Toronto.
Yeah. No, it's rough here, man. Just at the
Dude,
park the other day, and the homeless tents are like double what they were 3 months ago.
it's
Anyway,
crazy.
I just want to kind of reiterate, like Xander's totally right. At this point, if you guys are doing covered calls, it's going to be super dangerous. Like we're not in the sideways consolidation phase anymore. I think that
Sorry, can you explain covered calls for the audience?
okay, yeah, absolutely. So basically, you guys are familiar with options. Basically, you're buying the right to a certain allotment of shares, and it's a form of leverage. It's timed and it decays, right? So it's like if the price doesn't move in the direction you're aiming for in a certain period of time, you're not going to make money and you're going to lose the principal. When you're selling covered calls, you're basically selling someone a contract that allows them to buy your shares at a certain strike. And there's value in it based on the volatility, the time, and a bunch of other factors. They're kind of complicated. Essentially, what you're doing is you're monetizing your shares, right? So it's like, oh, I have 10,000 shares, right? You divide that by 100, that's how many contracts you could sell. You get a certain premium for it based on all those other price factors I was talking about. But here's what happens, right? Let's say, you're like, oh, I think Tesla, the Tesla community, people, whatever, everyone, all the retail thinks it's going to go to 400. But I don't think it's going to happen, right? And you're a long-term shareholder, and you're like, oh man, I'm sitting on all these shares, but I want to make some money. And you sell that strike, and let's say you put it for December, and it goes to 420, and suddenly you lose all the gains past 400. That's what happens, because the person who bought that contract from you is making the profit off the difference of that. And what I'm saying is, I could be wrong, but it's looking more and more like this is the start of a bigger move. And even my father, like in my household, I think there's about, I don't know, we own around $3 million of Tesla shares, approximately, between me, my father, and my brother. And my dad has a tiny trading portfolio, and he has his main portfolio, which just long-term doesn't touch it, Warren Buffett style, dollar cost average. But he's been trying to trade Tesla with the double leverage ETFs. And once we got to 290, he sold. He sold it. And now he's having trouble psychologically finding a place to get back in with that trading portfolio. I even warned him. I said, look, this is not the same Tesla you knew for the last 2 years. Things are changing. And the price will leave people behind, and it's going to charge forward. And
The
you're
portal
not
is
going to know when to
closing.
get back. Problem with trading at this
I
phase, we're not in a bear
agree.
market
I
anymore.
agree.
Stock's not in a bear
If you
market.
sell it,
Um,
it's hard to come back in. I agree.
yes.
It's
Oh,
it's a
oh
lot
no,
of
I'm
it's a lot
selling.
of
Like
feeling
he has
inside.
he has a small portion that that he's trading, but he owns most of his shares. Like, most of his capital is allocated in shares. Doesn't.
Yeah, I have a little
Thank you, Skeletor.
tip. Yeah, that everything Skeletor was saying was spot on, and I have a little pro tip, because like I didn't believe we were going to blast through 300 the way that we did, and I sold my trading portfolio, which was all shares, and contracts at 300, and then we just went flying past it. You kind of, I don't think about that I have to be right. I just think about like, oh, I missed out on, $30 or whatever the math is of gains. I'm just gonna accept the defeat and just get like right back in, because in 2020 I learned that lesson when COVID happened, because I was just, I was 2019 investor, and that lesson of like, oh, I'm gonna need the money. Let me sell it all, and then when we V-shape recovered and it blasted off, I sold in like the 400s at that time, and I didn't get back in until like 900. So like you become paralyzed, and you're like, oh no, it's gonna dip. No, it's gonna dip. And so I just learned to just stop trying to time the market in that regard, and then just accept that you made a mistake, and just don't worry about what you missed out on. Like, never mind that. Just focus on that your long-term thesis is that this company is going to be worth whatever you think it's going to be worth, or the opposite.
Yeah, absolutely.
Skeletor, when you're not speaking, if you could mute your mic, because it'll end up with feedback, just so you know, with spaces.
May I ask what is you guys' expectation price target 2025? I know, Benji, you say 575?
Yeah, 575. So for 2023, I said it was 260, and we did like 255. And then this year, I've said 350. We pretty much hit that. And I'm saying confidently, 99.99%, 575, without any pre-orders or announcement of pre-orders of Optimus or even Cybercaps.
So what are the main catalysts driving it up to 575 in your opinion?
So energy is one. I made a whole video about this too. Let's see if I
I
can
missed it.
pull up my
Sorry.
little. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. No, we can revisit that. Yeah, it's literally, I have here profits because I look at the fundamentals, and then I look at the this is end of year of 2025. So by end of year 2025, Wall Street and analysts are looking towards the next 12 months. And the next 12 months, which is in 2026, it's going to be 2026 is going to be an awesome year for Tesla. I mean, 2025 is a pre-show to what is going to happen in 2026. But I have here profits. I have operating margin. I know it's going to sound crazy, but in Q4 of 2025, hitting above 14% operating margin. And yeah, that's what I have here, 14%, which is absolutely insane. I have energy here growing more than 50%. Yeah, more than 50% in terms of revenue and profits. So it's mainly earnings and forward guidance, as well as macro environment, which is interest rates being low, taxes coming down to 15%. You also have, the
Elon
Elon
as a
Trump
first
thing.
buddy.
Yes, that's the main thing
Did you
too.
price
I
that
have
in yet?
here, yes, that's priced in as well. The FSD take rate increasing as well. I have robo taxis. Wait a minute, no, I'm looking at 2026. Sorry, there we go. But yeah, energy is up 12% for operating margin for Q4 of 2025, not 14%. That's 2026.
Are you anticipating the whole Juniper project coming out and being part of those numbers for driving it up?
Yeah, 100%. I got here 2.2 million vehicle sales for 2025, all of 2025. So literally a 23% increase. Elon was saying 20 to 30%. So I took 22% from it, 23% of that. And then obviously margins are going to go up. I know EV credit's going to go away, but that's not going to matter with the affordable models coming out, because affordable models will be the same price of what the Model 3 and Y is. No, just the Model 3 after the EV credit. So it kind of makes up for it. As well as COGS will come down. I know I have Q3 here, vehicle gross profits dipping lower because of the ramping of the affordable models. But just like with all products are, is going to eat away from margins a bit. It's going to be a cash burner. But I see them quickly bouncing in Q4 because I'm thinking that how they're going to build this affordable model. They say it's the same line as the Model 3 and Y, but I don't know. I have a feeling there's some sort of an unboxing into it as well. I think it's going to be produced a whole lot faster than many people think. And it's not going to be like what Tesla did with the Cybertruck, where they said that, yeah, here's the vehicle. And then 5 years later it came out. It's going to be like, yep, it's available in our website. You can go order it now. So we can avoid all the Osborne effect and stuff. And that's going to bring a massive shockwave to Wall Street, massive shockwave to the stock price, just to the whole market. Tesla's going to just shock everybody. Services, I have it going higher. I see credits being similar to this year as well. I think we're going to end around 2.7 billion. I'm thinking around there too. Services growing nicely. Leasing will increase as well because interest rates will come down. Energy is going to grow nicely. I have Q3, Q4 robotaxi revenues and profits coming in because of the rollout of unsupervised FSD in Texas and California, potentially in Florida as well. Taxes as well going down, as I mentioned earlier. Operating costs, I think, won't be as high as we think, but I think I put here around 25% increase from 2023. But overall, I have it here around like $575. I think that's the fair value for Tesla end of 2025, which is a market value of 1.85 trillion, which I think we'll hit past that. I think we'll probably hit over 2 trillion. Dan Ives keep saying that, but that's how I see it. I mean, anything below, not financial advice, but anything below the 575 end of next year, if these numbers come true, if the interest rates are low, if we don't have a black swan event, if something doesn't happen, then I think 575 is a fair value, just like how 350 is now, in my opinion. So that's my take on it.
Thanks. What about the rest of the speakers here?
Sandra, please.
I was just going to ask, Pejjy, are there any bearish type of things that we can discuss? Because I'm having trouble finding some that would keep the price down.
Oh no, there's definitely a bear thing. Trump not being friends with Elon anymore. I mean, that would be one, definitely. Something happening with China and the US, and then China decided to do something that what's that word?
I have two also.
Yeah.
FSD is not really ready to launch in CA and Texas, or FSD is actually launched, but we run into accident. So those are my two concerns.
I am still concerned with interest rates. I know, Pejjy, that you think they're coming down. I think we're going higher for longer. And the reality of the situation is that in America, when we have higher interest rates, people will wait to make large purchases. But we've been going through that as a company for a couple of years now, honestly. I mean, they raised the interest rates, 2 summers ago, aggressively, which was insane. And, we're still selling cars. So that's fantastic. Now, when the interest rates do come down, I think there's going to be a huge boom, unfortunately right now, Tesla's main income, is selling cars. Energy is growing. Definitely. I agree with that. But I think 2025 and 2026 can be very volatile years, because if we get that Optimus robot out, I mean, that's going to send us to $1,000 a share, I think, at least, when it can really do things for people, when it can mow your grass and fold your laundry and watch your kids, sky's the limit. And that is coming. Like I said earlier in the spaces, we have already seen that Optimus can perform these tasks remotely controlled. That's already a huge advantage. There are so many dangerous jobs out there: roofing, working with chemicals, working with explosives, just so many things that we can take all of that risk away from the humans and put robots in. So already we're at a huge advantage, and Wall Street doesn't see it at all, because the way Wall Street works, Wall Street analysts, right? An analyst is like a specialist in like one field. They're not used to a company that is so many companies all in one, you know? So they'll put an auto guy on Tesla, and it's like, well, Tesla's really an AI company, it's a tech company, it's a SaaS, service as a software company. There's so many companies that are under the umbrella of Tesla that they really can't put a competent analyst on it, except for maybe Dan Ives. I love him so much. I think he's fantastic, but it's just really interesting, the disconnect between Wall Street and what's really going on with the company, because we all have to remember Wall Street only moves 3 months at a time. They don't care what's happening in 2 years, but long-term investors do. And I think that's why in some ways we have the advantage if you have the longer view.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Jen.
100.
Good point. Rabbit, please.
Yeah, on the topic of interest rates, of course, Tesla's running some really aggressive deals right now where they're doing 0% for like 60 months. I mean, this is something that's like kind of able to bypass it. And I can't imagine their Q4 numbers can't be amazing after this. But what do you guys see this as? Like a long-term resilience against interest rate issues? Or do you feel this as like an inventory dump for things to come and then they're going to drop it eventually? Or just pumping up numbers for Q4? I mean, long term, it's not going to stay this way, right?
I think it was the only move they could have really made in this environment, because you see large dealerships doing it all the time where they'll offer 0% or 1% financing because they own their banks a lot of times. If you look at the dealership model and how traditional car companies, OEMs make money, the dealership is making money on financing and they're making money on repairs. Okay, so that's what their priorities are. So of course they're going to have these like fantastic financing deals. And I think to be competitive with new buyers that are entering the EV space, and they have to choose between an ICE car and an EV, I think that 0% interest rates was a genius move. I'm really proud of the company for doing that. I think the one negative, and I'm not a big like, oh, Tesla should advertise, because they kind of do for free with Kim Kardashian and some other really fantastic influencers, even Elon himself. Like, why would we pay for advertising? However, I don't think that the average American knows that they're offering 0% financing. And that, I think, is a disadvantage.
I could get on board with that, but I also feel like the exposure that Elon's getting with Trump recently is kind of opening a different market.
I agree.
Who maybe traditionally were against electricity in general.
I'm sorry, the people on the East Coast that is like in the farm, like used to call EV like gay car. Right now they want to buy Cybertruck. I agree. We have new friend here that want to speak. Where's him? Victor. Oh, he's gone. Oh, it's okay. All right. Yeah. Do anyone worry about Elon's safety?
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
That's the bearish take of all, right?
That's a topic in
yeah.
my house. My husband is Tesla bear, and he's like, "You crazy? You crazy? Put all our money in Elon? You crazy? People gonna kill him." And I'm like, "No."
I'm not concerned with Elon's safety too much for a couple of reasons. One, his best friend is going to be president. They've got a lot of security around them, and Elon's security team is fantastic. And he has been threatened for years and years and years, and thank God no one has gotten close to him. But not only that, he is a master at team building. And he gets the best and the brightest that our country and some other countries can give in engineering and in software and everything. Like, he attracts the best talent. So I believe that all of his companies have an amazing foundation. Whereas if, God forbid, Elon was gone, I think that he's really built some fantastic teams that could continue it. Unlike, I feel like with Apple, right? When Steve Jobs died, I think Apple died, and because they really aren't innovating anymore. They're just kind of coasting. In my opinion, I'm not a huge Apple person, but I don't think that Tesla and SpaceX would be like that, because he rises people up, like really worthy, fantastic people like Gwen Shotwell and, a lot of people at Tesla and everything. So I would still have confidence in the company. And I think they're far enough along with some incredible innovative technology that the company would continue to grow and to be successful without Elon, although I pray every day for his safety.
I share the same point of view. I'm not too worried about the key man risk as much nowadays. I mean, the company philosophy and culture is really well established now. People know what needs to be done, the get shit done attitude within Tesla. So to me, any of the senior executive could be a potential um, team cook for Tesla. So I'm just looking forward to get more insight. Who could that be? If anyone has any idea within the executive team who is capable to run Tesla, share. I just want to learn more about that too.
Yeah, that's also one of my concern. I want to know who the successor it could be. I mean, obviously nobody can be like Elon in Tesla, no, but there has to be that one person who can go, okay, if anything happens to Elon, this guy can take over, and I don't know who that is. I mean, when I sat down and think about it, is it Franz? No, he's just a good, he's an awesome designer, and
What do you think about Lars?
Yeah,
I don't
Lars.
know. I
Yeah,
mean,
I think so.
Can I tell you guys a funny story? It show you what a servant leader is. So I'm not sure Sander saw the same thing, but on 1010, when I was in Warner Brothers Studio, we all have to want to take the ride in Cybercab, right? But it's really between Cybercab and Model Y. Most of the people want to take the Cybercab. Nobody want to take the Model Y. So you know what Lars did? He said he go in the front of the line and say, whoever want to take the Cyber Y, I'm going to take the ride with him. So Lars is like motivating people to take the Model Y so they can have a one-to-one chat. That's how a servant leader is, just going all in to make the thing works, even if it means you have to take your own time and work with some total stranger. So to me, it's pretty impressive.
Joseph, that's a fantastic point. And I've seen it a lot with some of the senior leadership. Like they'll show up to the after parties and they'll meet people, they'll speak to people. They're not in some, crystal castle on the hill and are so far away from their shareholders. And that's what's really fantastic. Sander and I had the great privilege of being able to tour the Cybertruck line at the factory at the shareholder meeting. And I have to tell you, it's not only the senior leadership, everybody in the factory. This is what I noticed when I was in the factory. One, it's amazing. It's mind-blowing to watch all of the vehicles moving through it and all of the levels of the factory and to see all these workers. But I have to tell you, every single factory worker was happy. They were genuinely happy at work. And they all seem very competent. And that place runs like a very well-oiled machine. I have some friends that work for Tesla. They're all like the smartest people that I know. So I have a lot of confidence at every level in that company, to tell you the truth. I know that Elon is amazing and he's extremely important, but like everybody that works at Tesla is like on their top game. It's just amazing to me.
Yeah, Jeff has spoken about this from his experience being in these, C-suite. There's a succession plan. It exists. For us to know what it is, I don't know if that's that important. And I echo what everyone is saying is ultimately the vision for the company is so far downfield, and they have so many projects that are in motion that the value of the company is um, it's not really in like, the optionality of what Elon can create at this point. That was the 2019 thinking, but once the robot TAM, once they started going after that, I think that just becomes the North Star for me, is the application of FSD into all these other types of robots. That's where what I focus on is just solving the brain. I mean, that's the crazy part, is there's a company that's we have access and the ability to invest in a company like that. That's the incredible part for me.
Completely agree. I invest for 10x for EV, but I stay for 100x for the bot. I mean, think about it. The bot, no matter how many bots Tesla build, it will be sold. No matter what. They can build as many as possible, and every single bot will be sold. Neither because of retail people like us buying it for 20,000 or commercial use. The demand is unlimited in the next decade or two. So what are the worries here? I don't know. It's just unimaginable growth.
Yeah. Can I say something about the bot? The thing is that so I'm here in Kuwait, right? And every family household here, they have a maid. Um, and it's I mean, to them it's a lot of money. I know that this topic's a little bit controversy, but they get paid well. I just want to clear that out there first. But every family here they have a maid or two maids, and obviously what this maid does or what they do is they cook, they clean, they do the laundry, they do the bed, they do the chores, they take care of the kids, they babysit, they do all these things. Now 2 years ago, we didn't have my family and I here. We didn't have a mate. Then we decided to get one, and holy man, the amount of time that frees up, it's mind blowing. Like you have no idea. Like when I travel back to Toronto, I'm just like, oh, I gotta cook, I gotta clean, I gotta freaking do my own laundry and dishes. Like what? I don't want to do all this,
That's
and it
my
takes a
life.
lot of time.
That's my life.
And yeah,
I'm the
so
maid.
now with
That's
this bot
my life.
yeah, exactly. And once this bot is in, everyone will have their own personal maid. They will cook,
When
clean,
I'm in
cook out, and do whatever you
Thailand,
want to
we
do.
have house and she do
Yes,
everything. I can roll my
yes,
hair and go have lunch. I have amazing time in Thailand. When I come to
yes,
America, I'm the maid. Picking up sock, I
yeah,
have to cook, I have to clean the toilet because paying someone here is just
yeah. Very
not
expensive.
happen. I'm not
Yeah,
paid. I
yeah,
asked everyone I met, will you buy Tesla bot if the bot can do anything for you? Everybody say they're gonna buy. Some of them say I'm gonna buy a few. I'm gonna buy
yeah,
like 5. So yeah, I'm not worried about that. Just please make it
yeah,
happen. My money with
yeah,
you.
yeah. So that's what I mean. And then once I realized this, and I'm just like, oh man, oh, we just gotta once this bot is good for customer use, that's it. Everyone's gonna have one, whether it's on a lease program or on a full purchase in cash or finance, whatever it is. Man, I don't want to do chores. I don't want to mow my lawn. I don't want to flipping cook meals. I want to do other things. So it's gonna be a massive game changer, and I didn't realize this until we actually got one here, and well, not a bot, but a a maid, and it just did everything. It's crazy. It's flipping amazing.
I just want to make one point about the bot, which is people say, no, this cannot do that for at least another 10, 15 years. But I want to make sure you guys understand one thing. Tesla can make Tesla compliant kitchenware or Tesla compliant toiletry, things that can be fine tuned so that it well trained for use with Optimus. So if you use this dishwasher is Tesla compliant. If you use it, the robot will know how to do it. So the Tesla bot doesn't have to know every single dishwasher out there, how to load and unload it. All they have to know is this is a Tesla compliance, and then if you buy it, the bot will be able to use it. So I think it will be sooner than we think. But whether Tesla will make such a Tesla compliant product, we don't know because they're going with the general solution here. But what I'm saying is, even before the general solution becomes available, there's a path so that this robot can be used in real life much sooner than we think.
Joseph, do you think that you need that if you can just have a training sequence for this is how I like things done, and so this is how you use my appliances?
Well, I think in terms of it's all come down to TTM, time to market. If you want to be able to train the robot, it may take a little bit longer time. It can be done eventually. But what I'm saying is there's a shorter path which we can commercialize the product if we have Tesla compliant product that works exclusively with Optimus. Maybe it's a shorter path.
I think the actual real answer to that is that the market itself will change itself to yield to whatever is in demand. So if Optimus is in demand, then you're going to see people who already have their own business, whether it be, you know, Bed Bath and Beyond or whatever, and they're just going to say that it is compatible with your bot.
Go ahead,
You know,
Jen.
Joseph. Oh, thank you, hon. So, you know, Joseph, that's the first time that I heard that, but I actually really love it. And I could see that happening, definitely. What I see with the robot, so now I see three parts. I saw two before, but I could see the sale of the robot, the sale of specific items that match with the robot. I really love that. And the third thing, and the part that I think is going to print the most money, is all the service as a software products we're going to get out of this. Because sure, you can buy the Optimus robot, but then you're going to need the software. We're all familiar with like Microsoft Windows, right? So that's how Microsoft got so rich, is that they licensed, you know, their software. And I could see Tesla licensing software for a housemaid or licensing software for, say, landlords. Like, I definitely would love to use an Optimus robot to do my inspections or to do minor repairs or to just, you know, be me when I can't be there, because then I can do other stuff. Because what I really want to do is just be out in the RV and go to Tesla events and stuff. I don't want to have to do any of that stuff, you know? But I think that there's going to be so many software as a service products, because you'll have like dance instruction, you'll have tutoring for your children, child care, pet care. I mean, anything that a human can do, this robot's going to be able to do, but you're going to pay for all of that software. And I'm excited as a shareholder.
And to expand your idea here, and Tesla, the AI cluster itself can be the training platform for other third party who interested to build that software if Tesla is not doing it in-house, right? For example, I want a software that can do roof thing, you know, do the roof installation. Tesla don't have to be the one training. They can, you know, provide AI time and resources so other company can come in who specialize in roofing, know all the tricks and tips. Those are the people who can provide the software, and Tesla make a big cut out of it. So, I mean, this is the ultimate product, really, if you think about it.
Thank you.
No, it really is. Oh, sorry, Fawn, I didn't mean to cut you off. It really is. Like, I started thinking about all the different programming, and I was like, man, Tesla could be your massage therapist. You know, like, there's so many things, or it's Optimus, you know, there's just so many things that humans do for other humans. And all of that is possible with really great software. So
A
we
massage
it's just,
have
therapist, huh?
we have
Yeah.
two hand up
yeah.
right here. We have Luke and Skeleton. I don't know who hand up first, so I'm gonna let Luke speak a bit. Hello, Luke.
Hey guys, thanks for giving me a shot here. I just wanted to give a little intro who I am. I'm live in Canada near Toronto. I work in the film and television industry.
Another Canadian. Oh yeah, Luke, how you doing, my man? Second
Good,
time on
thank
the
you.
Spaces.
Yeah, man, thank
Canada,
you.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about kind of 2025 and a little bit about 2026, so kind of what's coming and just the roadmap of like the developments and everything that's going on with Tesla. Like, we have the semi ramp. I think that's kind of really not talked about a lot as the factory gets built and we see, you know, these $250,000 trucks roll out. When you're selling 50,000 of those at full ramp by the end of 2026, that's going to be huge for Tesla, and people are just totally underestimating this side of their business, in my opinion, because there's a lot of trucks on the road. And you know, they just told us recently about their new chargers coming out to help with that. And you know, Tesla's also, they're not stupid about who they're selling these things to. They're going to sell them to everyone who's ready to buy them and has already the infrastructure and means to keep these things going on the road. So they're not going to have a shortage of customers. They're going to sell every single one of these for many years. And I think that, you know, the battery factories coming out in China, that's coming along really fast, faster than what most people were anticipating. So, you know, we're going to see a doubling of pretty much battery production, you know, another 40 gigawatts by the end of next year, probably. And Tesla just started adding energy onto their balance sheet this year, like from what we've seen. So, you know, we're only going to see those numbers like growing like crazy. And
Look, my friend, when did you start investing in Tesla? What is your inspiration?
my father-in-law actually got me invested into it in 2021. He started buying in, I think, 2018, 2019, just before it really exploded. And it's been
So your wife
nonstop.
making you rich.
Oh yeah, one day.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah, and you know, he bought his Model 3 in 2022 pretty much with his earnings on his Tesla stock, and I drive it around all the time, and I've experienced FSD, so like I understand the products, and I've experienced the technology, and FSD is also something that is totally not understood by most of the market here and people. Like, I have conversations with people every day about autonomy and robots and things, and most people have no idea what's going on. Absolutely no idea. And when I started explaining to them the value of like being driven around without anybody else at, if not the same cost or cheaper than an Uber, it's a no-brainer that this is going to be the option people are going to choose. And if Elon said that they're going to be producing 2 million robo-taxis by the end of 2026, like, that's going to be crazy. Like, it's totally not understood by most people, and it's going to be absolutely a slap in the face to everyone who missed out on this opportunity. And then robots are going to be an absolute destroyer of people's minds. They're going to melt
Bonker.
their minds are going to melt when Optimus and robots are everywhere. It's not a matter of if, it's just when. You know, and when it comes to the Tesla stock price, when things like, when there is the day that there's an announcement that Optimus is signed to a warehouse at Amazon or at Walmart, you're going to see the stock jump like never seen before. And also there's going to be deals with FSD. Like, 2025 is going to be massive for Tesla, but 2026 is going to be the year when autonomy is actually realized by most of the masses, I think, and you're going to see the stock do a 10x.
Nvidia moment.
No doubt.
Okay,
That's a sheesh
skeleton.
moment.
Skeleton friend. Hello.
Hello. Yeah, what I was going to say is that right now the car business is like it's like the sideshow. Like, I don't want to diminish it, but it's the sideshow, and it's not going to be a part of the narrative very soon, right? Like, we're moving to software sales very soon, you know, the next year or two. But then the real thing cooking is absolutely Optimus. I mean, it's basically end game capitalism. It's going to break every single model we have for productivity, GDP, everything. It's going to be so hard to apply like an effective model to basically say, oh, well, we could replace all human labor now. Obviously, starting with the most simple jobs, working up to the most complicated. But I was even thinking, like, okay, we're going really sci-fi here. You know, this talk of succession at Tesla, you know, we're only tapping, like, we're only at the first stage of AI. I mean, I think personally, eventually, it'll all just be automated, like, even at the executive level. Like, I sounds crazy, but I think that even just training Grok and everything, I mean, you know, what if you could, like, literally clone your brain, put it in a computer, and then give it superpowers? Like, I mean, that's what I think we're going to see in the next 10, 20 years with AI. And it sounds stupid now, but I mean, like, you know, look at the internet in the 90s. I mean, it was so simple at the time compared to what we have now. But now everyone basically has a supercomputer in your pocket. And, you know, people in the 90s would not have predicted that, even the most aggressive futurists out there.
Thank you, skeleton. We have 4 new request speaker. None of these people I know. Okay, let's do it. Bohemian, thank you for your patience. Okay, now I add you. I'm gonna add one at a time. I'm brand new of this space too. Hello, friend. Sandra, please.
Oh, I didn't know. Hey, I got to run with the wifey for birthday celebrations, but I just want to say it's very refreshing to hear people and young people that I've never heard of before talking about the bullish points of the company. I feel like all we do is fight FUD and talk all the negative stuff, and obviously the cyber bulls, we see it, but it's nice to hear new people. I appreciate that you guys get it and are looking forward to the future instead of
Sandra,
going short.
next time we host the space, you must tell us about the semi. You must
Well,
tell us about
there's
that.
nothing to
I would
tell
like to
except
hear about it.
yeah, just ordered it on the 18th of August of 2022, and you have as much information as I have. Just waiting, but I think Skeletor or whoever mentioned it. Oh no, it wasn't Skeletor, but Luca mentioned it, so I posted it up there since I have one on reserve.
That's awesome.
I'm also going to be slipping out. Thank you guys very much for
Please
having me.
tell your wife. Please tell your wife happy birthday. Give her a hug, please.
Oh, dude, thank you. Bye.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, boys. It's a pleasure talking to y'all.
Hello, John.
John.
Welcome. What up?
Hi, hi everyone. I'm from Hong Kong. I just want to ask if anyone here can give me some information about the robots, because I see some of us are quite optimistic about this development. Like several years ago, when I tried to invest Tesla, I was so interested and so exciting about see the dojo and then the robots and others. Because I can get what Elon is thinking. But after years of investment and especially like the robot in those videos, and people like here seems to be quite optimistic about the development and the sales in the market, maybe in the 1 or 2 years time. But from my point of view, I'm really a bit skeptical whether the robot dojo can be put into market. I mean, the robot, not dojo. Sorry, is able to be in the market for sales for that soon. Because software is one problem, probably easier. But actually, the hardware part for a lot of materials and then the conjunctions between the joints, those tissues, kind of things, are really difficult from my point of view. So, but I didn't follow that up very closely. So anyone can give me some information about its development and how is your opinion on whether it could be in the market very soon. Because I invest quite a lot in Tesla, but it put me into almost a book like
Jane, you want to
a few
answer
years.
this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So, okay, so let's talk about the robot. So there's the hardware and there's the software. So the hardware is coming along quite well. Tesla's making their own actuators. They're very smooth. It does have human-like movement. There's been some fantastic videos that have come out lately showing Optimus dancing, doing fine motor skills, being able to hold things. That was a hurdle for many robotics companies, was the hands being able to work like human hands. But let's go on to the software for a minute. So the moment that I realized that Tesla was going to make a robot was when FSD was really coming online, and it became clear to me. I was like, what is Elon trying to do with FSD? And then it came to me. I was like, oh, he's solving perception in robotics. And I don't think it was ever really about the cars driving themselves so much as making this enormous data set to solve for perception in robotics. Because the problem in manufacturing right now with robots, there's not a whole lot of robots in manufacturing. If you look at like the percentages of robots versus humans, And then when there's an issue with the robot, you have to shut the whole line down because it doesn't have any perception. So if you have like a nail that has to be hammered into a board, right, and it's coming down the line, today with manufacturing robots, that nail has to be straight, because if it comes down the line and it's a little tilted, you got to stop the whole line and a human has to write the nail. The moment that the robot can write the nail and then hammer it in, that is huge for manufacturing. So, and we saw that in the video at the shareholder meeting, this last shareholder meeting. If you rewatch it, you'll notice that Elon left this one video just on loop behind him as he was speaking. And I was like, man, this guy's a genius. And what was going on in that video? It was the Optimus robot moving the 4680 cell. I think it was the 4680 cells because it was the cylindrical ones from one station into a box, right? It's moving it into a box with little slots. And one of them fell crooked. And the robot corrected it and it dropped in. And it was that moment that I realized not only is the robot going to be very successful, but FSD is done. I truly believe FSD, as far as the software and getting to the point of solving for perception and robotics, I believe that has been completed, and that at this point we're at like edge case data, right? So, and the cars are constantly collecting data. Like, it was brilliant to start with cars because it's a consumer product that people are already familiar with. And Elon is very smart. And if I were to venture to guess, and I don't know his mind, but I would imagine that he was always thinking of building a robot and was like, well, let's work backwards. Like, let's figure out how we do this. And it made so much sense then to me why FSD would be so important, why the cars would always be collecting data, and they all do. And the data set alone that Tesla possesses, like, nobody is catching up to Tesla there. And that's just with the cars. Now imagine the data set when the robot comes online and then it's collecting data just like the cars did. Because with FSD, it was for, in my opinion alone, it was to solve for perception in robotics. But I believe part of buying Twitter, part of creating Grok, XAI, was to solve for reasoning in robotics. When they solve for reasoning, that robot will work just like a human. And I believe they're well on their path.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, if I could say a couple things about the Optimus, I could put in a little bit of perspective. So I think with Optimus, what people kind of are missing is that first, Tesla is going to be deploying Optimus in their own factory, which, like Jennifer was just saying, we saw it operating already, doing 4680 cell sorting. So we know it can do stuff already in Tesla. We don't know all of what it's doing in Tesla yet. It could be doing a lot of jobs already in Tesla. We just don't know yet. And, you know, they keep reiterating in their calls and stuff, you know, they're going to be deploying more robots in their own factory as time goes on. And Tesla is going to be getting a lot of data from that. So where the advantages are is that Tesla's already vertically integrated with their own products, with the Tesla robot. It's already doing stuff in their own factory that's replacing a job. So they're going to be learning all this stuff in the factory, which is they need it because it's kind of a geo-fenced area where there's only so much that can happen kind of in a warehouse space. There's going to be things falling from the sky or whatever.
What I can add is the Grok. Elon bought a Twitter and become X. And all of us on that share our consciousness all day long, what we think.
Exactly.
Training
Tesla
Grok.
has access to all this data in between, you know, getting stuff from XAI, which we're probably going to see. But it's the most important thing with Optimus is the actual doing in the training and the learning, because it needs to learn things. And there isn't going to be many jobs that Optimus isn't going to be do. The real ChatGPT moment for robotics is all in the fingers. And it's going to be when a robot can thread a needle every single time through a string, it's over. There's nothing that it can't do if it can thread a needle through a string. Think about how difficult that is for most people to do. If a robot can do it and the consistency time that is better than the average human, it's already better. So there's not going to be much that it can't do if it can't do that, because there's already robots, not Optimuses, but robots that do surgeries, important surgeries. And it's only because they don't make mistakes and they don't have nerves. A robot can do a straight line perfectly 1,000,000 times in a row. It won't make a mistake.
And they don't have emotion too. They don't have hungover and come to work
Exactly.
too.
So what I'm getting at is that Tesla's going to deploy robots in their own factories first, get a bunch of training and learning from there, and then they're going to sign deals with the biggest companies in the world, like Walmart, like Amazon, like Walgreens, you name it. Every single company, the biggest ones in the world, are going to have robots, whether it's Optimus, whether it's Figure AI, whether it's whoever. There's going to be a massive market for robots. There's not going to be a shortage of them, okay? And every other company that exists and competes with all these other big companies are going to have robots to compete. If you don't have a robot, you're going to be paying more for your product. And who's going to buy it when it's more expensive, when you can turn around and get it from whoever else for a fraction of the price? So that's where robots are going to come first, and it's going to take time. Don't think that things are going to happen overnight, but they're going to happen pretty fast, because guess what? Robots are going to be, there's going to be a snap of a finger and a robot's going to come off of a production line like a car, and you're going to have a functioning labor every, let's say, 30 seconds, a robot's coming off. So this is where the whole GDP changes in the world, where there is not a shortage of labor because you can manufacture that labor that needs to be done in 30 seconds. So there's going to be a huge demand for these things in the workforce first, and then they're going to come to our homes. Robots need to be safe, very safe, before they can come into your house. Because if a robot falls or does something and breaks, it falls on somebody, what's going to happen? So there needs to be a lot of thought before they get into the house, in my opinion. I don't think we're going to see robots in our houses until 2030 or so. It's going to be a minute, but it's going to come. There's no doubt that everyone is going to want one. Like Elon has said, like a CP3O or whatever, there's going to be one in most people's houses by the 2040s. There's no doubt about that.
And I think the bot can. I know a lot of people are saying that it's going to reduce the global population, but I think it's going to do the exact opposite. I think once everyone has this abundance of everything, there's
We all
no
gonna go
reason,
make
because
baby.
yeah, we're all gonna.
Well,
I think
100%.
I think so.
Tell me what woman or man doesn't want to stay home and raise their kids if they could afford not to work? Like, that's the ideal situation.
Yeah, and if the thing is, if the men, because I know men, they're driven. Men are driven. They want to get things done. They go after purpose. They want to do big shit. That's what men do. And with Optimus, with bot, you can do a lot of that stuff. And so when you check the financials off, and when you can create a purpose, and then you have a stable household, and they don't have to work, and money is not an issue anymore for raising kids, well then, I know this may sound crazy, but it'll be like Africa all over again. Because Africa, they have like 8-9 kids per each family, and it's gonna be the same thing.
I think what a lot of people
Elon
are
dream will
missing
become true. Elon dream will
also
become true.
is that when they're your time is freed up and you can do things you want to do, like if most people are given those opportunities, like the world will be more productive if we are not wasting our time doing things we don't need to do. Like it's just like when Apple came out, like no one could predict the amount of revenue and applications that were going to come out with apps.
Not just that, dude.
Apps have opened the world up.
Yeah, dude, not just that. I mean, look at the internet. Remember back in 1999 or 2000s, everyone was going like, "Oh, the internet's going to take our job and we're all going to be homeless." Look, the internet's given us so much opportunity. Dude,
it's given us more than what we've ever known.
Exactly. I mean, the same thing's going to happen with the bot when it comes out. There's going to be so much. It's brain melting when you think about the opportunities you can do with the bot. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
that's how I see it. And I think this will fix the population, the decrease in population. This will help it and go the other way around, in my opinion.
I hope so.
This is why I keep buying the share, Pejjy. Doesn't matter how much you buy, if you know what I mean, right?
Jen, please.
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
So
Jennifer?
I just wanted to make a few comments, especially for the foreigners, because they may not be familiar with this. But let's just talk about the advantages for business owners for having a robot instead of a human. Well, I mean, are we going to be paying unemployment insurance on robots? I don't think so. So there's already huge cost savings for employers. And then a lot of the cost of doing business when you have employees is hiring and training because people quit, or they don't work out or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And we eliminate all of that. And that's a huge expense for most business owners. I see it in my family because my mom's family is mostly business owners. And just the constant hiring and the issues with employees and people not showing up or showing up and they're not ready to work. And then even in my experience in construction, right? Like if you guys have been following me this year, we've been doing a lot of construction. And I actually had one contractor walk off the job because he hit a limit where like he had overbid what he could do. And a robot's not going to do that. A robot's not going to tell you, oh, I can do this job. And then it turns out that they can't do that job, So there's so many like small little incremental improvements of just having a robot versus having a person. There's no sick days. There's no maternity leave. There's no personal time. There's no holidays. You can run a robot crew 24/7. You probably won't have to deal with OSHA anymore, which, so they don't need unions. I mean, it's going to be huge for business owners. They're all going to want robots because, like I said, one of the hardest things about owning a business is if you have employees, it's just a huge headache.
100%. I mean, there's no doubt about that. Like, there's a lot of good in-depth talks with people like Stern Basher and Herbert. They do a couple of good videos about the cost of HR and employees compared to bots, and the return on your investment with a bot is absolutely insane. It can work 3 times the amount of hours without any, like you said, vacation, sick days, not showing up to work. It literally lives at the factory. So it gets crazy. The numbers get absolutely banana. Like,
oh, yeah.
Watch the Stern Basher videos.
Well, think about this. There's no sexual harassment suits anymore. There's no racism. Like, there's none of that. Like, all of that bullshit is gone. It's going to be very interesting how it changes business. And then,
No healthcare.
Right. No healthcare. They don't need housing. How is that going to change the real estate market? And how is it going to change the real estate market when you can find contractors consistently and you can build on a consistent timetable, at lower costs too? It's going to disrupt every single industry.
I am very excited about these all applications. But my question is actually, is anybody familiar with the hardware part of the boards? Okay, because I'm also in with my company. We are also doing software, large language model about these kind of things. But one of my friends in San Francisco, several months ago, who was working closely with the Tesla, and said that okay, probably is and from my judgment too, from those videos, the robot seems to be a proof of concept type of prototypes. So it's far from being in the production phase, right? So my question is, anyone got any information? Is what is the status of the development, especially in the hardware part? Because there would be a lot of the material developments and joint development. Those are very fine-tuned type of technology. So that's my question. Of course, I'm very looking for the exciting side of the of the robotic application. Thank you.
From what I know is Tesla build their own actuators. They no longer buy from third party, so you cannot really go and buy the same actuator that Tesla is using. So which is nice because you want to create your own tailor-made actuator that serve your purpose. Even the hand is the most complicated one. I think it's about 22 degrees of dexterity, and it's all in-house made. So I don't think anyone can just go buy
Yeah, Joseph.
out there.
Joseph, that's my point. When everything you start from scratch to do it by yourself, then the company need to start from the material, start from the very fundamental type of technology and materials and all the supply chain before you are able to put it into the production pipeline. So because a robot has just been started for 2 to 3 years, 2.5 years in the public, right? That we know. So I'm just wondering, we are probably very optimistic about the sales of the robotic input into the revenue balance sheet, but I just try to make it get more information in order to be able to put all this kind of figure into my mind, into my evaluation.
Okay.
Valuation type
I
of
think, in my
yeah.
opinion, they're working on the release candidate. Whether release candidate 1, 2, 3, nobody knows. Definitely not a production level robot. However, when they build this release candidate, I believe all the actuator is aiming to be production ready. So they're not going to build a separate set of actuator down the road that is completely different. They're going to be gradually fine tuning the actuator so that it's going to be aiming for production ready level quality.
Okay. Thank you, Joseph.
I have to say, I think the proof is already in the pudding. Like, we've already seen the robot perform tasks. So I think the hardware is probably a little further along than the software, to tell you the truth. Tesla had so much confidence in the robots that they had them at a party with people and dancing and stuff. So if you look at just the movement of the robot, it's very smooth. It's improving constantly, and we already see that it is already working in the factories. And I think it was Luke that said, like, we don't really know all that the robot is doing. So we've seen it working, doing some things. So clearly it's already functional, but it's probably doing a lot more. But if you watch the videos of the robot lately, the movements are incredibly smooth. And it's something that I don't even think that Boston Dynamics, who has been working on robots for much longer, has been able to achieve. I think time is not really a factor at Tesla.
Wow. Jennifer, don't compare Tesla with the Washington Post robotics. Okay, that is a garbage company. So don't compare Tesla.
No, I understand, but I'm trying to think, like, what other robotics companies can we compare it to? If you compare it to all the other robotics companies, they're slaying it with Optimus, and we're still kind of new in it. So I don't really know if, like, time's a factor.
Jennifer, that's a point I want to point out, because all those robotic companies are not very successful. Okay, even though they invest in 30 years, 20 years in those areas, even in China and everywhere, even in Japan. Okay, so that's my a little bit worry about that. What are we too optimistic about the timing of the robot into the market? That's all the point I want to say. So in the supply chain, in the robotic world, everything is not ready, for that kind of application for the daily use, not in the factory. Okay, so we are talking about humanoid working in a factory, working in a daily life. That is totally different from what we are seeing in the commercial world now we have in the robotic industry. So I just want to get ourselves a little bit more information to be that optimistic.
I'm actually
If I could,
sorry, interrupt. The reason I'm being optimistic because I think Tesla fundamentally want to have raw material comes in, and they are the one providing the component and actuator. It's very different from other tech company where they buy the component from first source or second source. Tesla is aiming to buy raw material and produce the final product out. So there's really no supply chain when it comes to like component. You can think of it as raw material. God, think about it. They build their own stainless steel, right? It's so vertically integrated. So yeah, I don't think they depend on the supply chain in the traditional sense. They're gonna be most of the component. It's gonna be fine tuned and custom made for Optimus specifically.
Yep. Joseph, that is what I like Elon, okay, and he totally disrupted everything, from the FE end of the supply chain. So, but that from my also own startup opinion, from my science and fields and engineering fields experience of 30 years, that would take us much longer time. Of course, with the money with the Tesla have and Elon has, then the timing is much shorter.
I understand from big tech point of view. I'm also on take big tech 30 years in software and also making electronic component. Once you depend on the supply chain, there's a lag. There's always a lag. There's always quality issue, the yield and all that. But Tesla is different. They're gonna be doing the whole thing from their own. That's the difference.
Yeah, okay, I agree, and then I agree very much. But I just try to remind that we as a investor, we need to be, remain optimistic. But when we invest, we try to be conservative.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you.
I totally I understand that. And when it comes down to supply chain and unit economics of the robot, we're talking, there's no supply chain for robots before Tesla even started developing Optimus. Like, wasn't a thing. Okay. Elon has said they literally have made almost every single part from scratch. There wasn't any off the shelf material to buy. So when it comes to making the Optimus and what it's going to take from raw materials, you can expect Tesla to be almost completely vertically integrated with all of their parts for Optimus because they designed them all already. So they're pretty much going to be making the actuators the most important part and all the other important parts like the brain and the computers. And there's going to be suppliers like lining up outside of the factory to be a supplier of one of these robot parts, whether it be whatever it is, a toe, a fingertip, you name it. There's going to be so many orders to be a parts supplier to Tesla or whoever makes robots because there is no supply chain for it yet. It hasn't been built. So it's a whole new category for everybody. There's going to be a ton of robotic part makers that are going to come up over the next few years. It's going to be insane. And Tesla
Future is excited.
There's no doubt about it.
Future is so bright. We have a hand up right here. Mr. X or Mrs. X. Holy.
If I can make
X,
one more
now
point
you can
about
speak.
Optimus quick.
Yes, of course.
What people are also underestimating about Optimus is the actual teleoperation part of it. That is actually a feature because if you think about it, if you had one of these at your house or at your workplace, if it was at your house, for example, and you wanted to teleoperate it to go to the door to pick up a package for you because you needed to get it, you could teleoperate it from wherever you are in the world and use it to go and do the task you needed to do by operating it from wherever you are. Like, they're going to make that a feature for you. So it's like, it's something to think about when it's just like, if you wanted to do something very specific and you can actually do that for it. Like, the teleoperation is not a disadvantage of this part of the robot. It's actually going to be a feature, I think.
Thumb up. I agree. So now we have 3 hand up. Go ahead, my friend.
Hello, you guys. I just wanted to say thank you for holding the space. I've been listening for a little bit, but I do want to confess I would always shy away from these spaces just because I have been an investor in Tesla for, I'm going to say, maybe 2 or 3 years. But I've always loved the vision and I've always been, passionate about the mission. It's only recently that I've become employed there that I feel even more passionate about it. So I'm very kind of.
So you work at Tesla, my friend?
I do. I work at the manufacturing part. So I'm actually building the car. I do have an NDA, so I
Nice.
don't. I honestly am not given any detailed information about future uh, you know, features coming out. But I am as excited as you guys are. And I am wholeheartedly in the mission. I lost my mother in a car accident when I was 14, and now I am currently helping build the safest car in the world. And I love telling the world that. I love telling my haters because some people just have no clue about the vision, none whatsoever. And that's okay. But I have a question for Pejjy. Pejjy, I was looking at your uh, profile, and I noticed yesterday you had made a post about, and forgive me because I'm new at investing. I'm not a top investor. I don't day trade. I don't do any of that stuff. I like to put my money where my heart is, and I've done that here with Tesla. But I have a question about what you posted yesterday. You said something about ghost, uh, a ghost buy. What is that? What does that mean exactly? If you could explain that just a little bit, that would be great. Is he
Pejjy?
still there, or does somebody else know?
No, I'm here. I'm here. I had a little of a glitch here, so it's fixed now. Yeah, no, ghost orders. Honestly, I have no idea. I think it's just glitches of the thing, and I when I see it, I report it. It's funny. There's nothing. There's nothing anything that we should be concerned about because it's just a little glitch in the system.
Okay.
Sometimes it comes true. Sometimes it comes true. That's the odd part, and I don't have any explanations for it. But that's a 1 out of 10 or 10% rate, I would say. But I don't. Ghost orders. When you Google it, it gives you some sort of a explanation, but I would say it's a glitch, really.
Okay, cool. Yes, and I'm completely bullish. And thank you guys for sharing the same sentiment. Have a great day.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you, friend. Jen, go ahead, please.
So I have some bad news. I got to run, guys. But I just wanted to say thank you so much for having me and letting me speak so much. I always love connecting with the Tesla community. You guys are all awesome. I feel like I learned a lot, which is amazing. And it's always good to see some of my friends. So I just want to wish everybody a great day and say bye before I just dipped out.
Thank you,
Yeah.
friend. Thank you
So
for your time.
thank
This
you,
is so much
Jennifer.
fun.
Nice talking with you, Jen.
It was a pleasure. Y'all have a great day.
Take care. I also got to head out in like 5 minutes. I don't know how it
Yeah,
works.
yeah. I think I'm gonna wrap up here too. When my kid about to wake up. So thank you for all your time. This is amazing. I'm so pumped about Tesla. I see. Of course, I'm so busy. I'm a full-time mom. All my ears to my kid, and I listen to Pejjy, and I'm like, we need to talk. We need to talk. Thank you for make this happen, Pejjy, and thank you, Joseph. Thank you, everybody that to join as a speaker. Um, we shall do this again. We should. We could. We would. Right? Right,
Yeah,
Pejjy?
sure.
Love
Yeah,
to.
we could do it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it was
Yeah,
nice talking. Nice to
yeah, we
meet
could do it.
Yeah.
meet you all.
I'll be taking this recording.
That's
I'll be
great.
posting on YouTube as well. But yeah, we could do it maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks or something. We can definitely do it. Yeah.
Of course, friend. So thank you so much. Thank you, Pejjy. Thank you for all your time. Follow Pejjy, follow me, follow every speaker, Joseph. Find your inspiration and never sell. Never sell.
Yeah.
Good day, friend.
Take
See you
care, guys.
later.
Thank you all for coming.
Bye-bye.
See you.